Hello and welcome to Sobrix. I'm Adam and this is Sobrix. This is my channel for reviewing Lego sets and building them and other Lego related stuff. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the new for 2024 Lego Icons Winter Village Collection Santa's Post Office set. This is set number 10339. It has 1,440 pieces, and I paid $100 for this set. So I was pretty interested in this one. I actually really like the Winter Village collection. For a number of years, they've been pretty good value and fun and interesting builds. I've done the Holiday Main Street and the Santa's Visit and the Alpine Lodge and maybe one other one. Those are just kind of the more recent ones. I actually don't know if my video for the Alpine Lodge I ever put up, so that was last year's. I may have to finish that one or upload that one, and maybe now is a good time to do it, but either way, we have the new one here. This one seemed to have some interesting features, interesting functions, some cool colors in here, and seemed just overall pretty fun from what I've seen about it. It does include a light brick, so it does have the new-ish kind of warning on here, and I'm excited to see what's in here. 1,400 pieces for $100 seems pretty good, and so I'm looking forward to it. So in this video, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to put this together, and then I'm going to share my thoughts on it. So while I build, I will speed the video up, and then I'll slow it back down to review this set. So until then, enjoy. Okay, so while we look at the build for this Lego Icons Winter Village Collection Santa's Post Office set, I just wanted to say thanks for watching and then remind you, if you like this video, click the thumbs up. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button. That helps me a lot. If you want to support the channel and give money to the channel, you can do that here on YouTube. Membership, supers, and thanks. There's a Patreon in the video description. There is a Buy Me a Coffee link. There is also affiliate links and different stuff. And then I wanted to spend some time talking about the build. This is a bigger set than I've covered, I think, recently. So the review is a little bit longer and the build is a little bit longer as well. We're starting off here with kind of some side buildy type things. The little like terrain areas, there's kind of like a fishing hole, there's a Christmas tree, and now we're working on like a mail sorting thing. This is really colorful. It's got some super basic techniques in here, kind of a mechanism sort of for a lever, kind of a teeter-totter type thing to dump mail out one way or the other. And then we also build these little carts that can go on either side of that. And then we can start working on the main kind of bulk of the build, which is the post office itself. So here we're making the base for the building, and you can kind of get a sense for the depth of this, and we also have some areas kind of out front a little bit there for an entryway, as well as kind of an outdoor a pass-through sort of fireplace, which is nice. And we're kind of getting all the external details done, different mounds of snow, little bags, and then we can start working on the inside. So we do a little rug pattern over there, and have the turntable. Onto the next bag, we have the Santa figure. Then we can actually start populating some of the stuff inside. We build up kind of what's going to be some of the flame pieces. We do a little bookshelf over here, which I don't know if I got all the colors correctly, but I tried. And we're kind of building up this side room over here, which is sort of like a den or a lounge or a study or something like that. Little chair in there on a turntable so it can swivel around, have some nice windows, different stuff, a table there. And then we build on the outside kind of more of the pass-through kind of fireplace, chimney type area, some archway for the back, and a couple other things here. This is actually going to go into the next room. It's sort of like a mail sorting station with like a bunch of different cubbies and stuff like that. And we'll continue working that way all the way across. The color scheme for this is really nice. I can't tell if it's purples or blues or a little bit of both, but I like that. There's some good technique in here with, just to accommodate the window pieces there, as well as like the window sills with some snow on it. We work on some of like the pillars for the entryway a little bit. There's kind of an archway before the door, and then we add the door in there. Spinning that around, we can start building up the rest of the kind of external wall over on the entryway, which is kind of like its own little like storage room or break room or just entryway thing there. So we build a little bit of a desk, like a coffee table counter. We build another desk on the left, kind of the main room in there, and we can keep going here. We build up the roof over on this side, which is like largely flat when this set doesn't really have a ton of flat roofs, but that's because we have a special kind of landing area there. That's that 6x6 kind of tiled out area with just the couple studs. And so we add some stuff to that. Then we have a nice ramp there. We build another kind of ramp or like a chute or something coming right off of that inside. And we have another one coming in that side, which adds to the playability and the function and the interactivity of the different elements of this set, as well as, just like play stuff. And then we can finish up kind of working on the taller external wall. There is a little bit of a room up here. It's got a higher ceiling than normal in the main floor, but then we do add a little bit of stuff up top, which is cool. There's some nice like architectural detail in here and nice stuff to accommodate like a brick built sign out the front, which is good. There's a ton of printed tiles of various kinds for different letters and mail and packages and things like that throughout this set, so I'll cover those in the full review. We do a couple other little like desk type things over there, and then a like chute or sort of a funnel that leads into one of those those slides or like those chutes for maybe sorting mail. Here we build a roof part. It doesn't stud down, it just kind of rests on the roof, but it locks in there okay because of the stuff that's like hanging around it. And then it has a little cutout for the chimney. We have some external details here, a little stuff over by the fireplace, and stuff kind of on the peak of the wall there for that top room. We have some like holly or garland or some sort of floral kind of decorative stuff out there. And then we actually have a pretty cool technique here, even though it was a little tedious to build for this roof. This roof section actually is attached. It clips in a nice way. So that one can like stay on there even when I'm like handling it weirdly later in the build. And onto the next roof section. This is the bigger kind of peaked roof, and they have some internal details here too. So some of these like yellow pieces and stuff like that is something that really only comes into play if you can see it from the inside or take off the roof to show it. But that's a nice little Easter egg. Those come together nicely, and that doesn't like super stud down either, but it feels relatively secure. I just wouldn't lift it up by the roof or anything like that. And onto the next bag of pieces, we can build the hot air balloon that's in this set, which is really, really cool. There is a light brick being used. So we start working on the basket with some of these browns and reds. There's a little bit of Technic in there. We do make a little bit of a room for a minifigure to occupy, but not a ton. Then there's a little kind of feature with that turn knob kind of crank at the back. Putting together this hot air balloon using these like bigger panel pieces is really nice. It looks really good, and we add a couple more supports, and that is kind of finishing that off. And I sort of play with everything and get it all aligned here, and that's it. So now on to my review for this set. Okay, so that is the 2024 LEGO Icons Winter Village Collection set called Santa's Post Office. This is pretty cool, and if you're seeing this, I've already probably put out the video that's looking at Santa's delivery truck. Let me grab that. Okay, so I grabbed the Santa's delivery truck set, which, like I said, I've already done a video about, and I'll probably talk about this in its relation to the Santa's Post Office Winter Village collection set a little bit later. And there's a lot to get into, so we'll just dive right into it. And the first thing we will take a look at is the minifigures, because you do get some. You get 5 minifigures in this set. So the first one you get is a Santa. So we have the like dual molded Santa hat, the red and the white. We have the newer style Santa face, which is slightly different from the one from a couple years ago that was in like the Santa's sleigh. No alternate face for this one, no hair piece for this one. We do have the rubbery kind of facial hair, the beard. Underneath that we can see Santa's coat, has some fur up around the collar, some buttons, a buckle, some fur down here. No printing on the midsection, no printing on the legs, but we do have dual molded legs, nice white hands for gloves, no printing on the arms. Back of the torso printing has the belt and the fur. Pretty simple there, but good to get that. Makes sense for that to be here. And then you get 4 elves in this set, and these are like the postal worker elves. So for all of these, the torsos are the same. The like hats and ears are largely the same, but there's a few differences. So first couple we will look at are these two. So you can see they do have slightly different faces, and they do have some alternate faces, or at least this one does. This one does not. I would say that this one is probably more feminine presenting, and this one's maybe more masculine presenting, but it's not really a meaningful distinction. So the hats are dual molded with the ears, and then the torsos have this really nice kind of green with the collar, has the gold going around it. There is a little emblem there. That's like the post office kind of logo or design that is on all their uniforms. They have the belt. All the elves are on the shortest legs, so they do not bend. They're not dual molded. There's no printing on them. So just the smallest legs there, and then the back of the torsos are pretty basic, but they do have the extra kind of stuff around the collar as well as the belt going around there. And then we have 2 more in here, but these are slightly different. So this one is maybe like the pilot elf here, so they don't have the same headpiece or like hair piece or hat piece with the ears and the hat. Instead, they have this kind of pilot helmet with the kind of goggles on there. The torso and the legs are all the same. Back of the torso is the same. This one does have an alternate face as well, which is nice to get that. And then we have another one here, which is largely the same. It does have the hat with the ears. This one has glasses printed on, which is nice. No alternate face. This one does have a scarf around there, and then they have these accessories in their hands, those red translucent. So there's sort of like a landing guide or like air traffic controller type elf in this role, I think. So the torso underneath the scarf and the legs and everything there are the same as the other ones. So those are the 5 minifigures in here, and that is fine. It's an acceptable amount, because this is one, it's different from maybe the like Alpine Lodge, because those were maybe like more grounded in some way. Those are people that like occupy that space instead of being somewhat like mythical. There's also, the Elf Clubhouse, which is something. Santa's Visit is kind of a little bit of a mix. Holiday Main Street feels very like grounded as well. So there are kind of some different avenues that these sets can like function in terms of what they're representing. So in this case, you don't get any like just plain people, plain minifigures, really. You get elves and Santa, and that is it. So you do get those 4 elves and that 1 Santa. And then as you can see, which is pretty common for these Winter Village sets, there's like a lot of like side buildy type stuff and different things to help populate the area. If these were going to all be like set up in a Lego Winter Village kind of display thing, you could use a lot of these to add a lot more detail to the foreground and background and fill in some of the gaps between these sets. And we'll kind of go through those. So I'm going to move some of this stuff over for now, if I can do it easily. And the first one we will look at here is this one. This is like a little pond. It does have the little like seal here, so that's not a minifigure, but it is a small animal mold. We also have the fish here, and we have a fishing pole as well. As it's built on this kind of rounded plate here, and then we build up a little kind of like ice thing using that opal essent or kind of satin translucent tiles in there, and then have the kind of snow or ice built up around that. So that's really nice. You could have one of the elf figures kind of there acting like they're rescuing a letter to Santa, maybe from the water or from the ice. This is a printed tile there, and there's a bunch of these in the set. There's actually a couple different letter type prints in here, and I'll try to point all of them out. There are some repeats. Some of them I think are new for this. Other ones might have been used before, but I'm not positive. This one kind of has like some writing and the stamp and a little decoration going around there, but there's a couple other kinds I'll show as we go. So we do have this little section here, which is kind of a funny vignette of fishing out a letter there with the seal and the elf kind of being there. So that is very good. The next one we'll look at is this signpost. Again, it starts with that same kind of rounded plate. It's 6 by 6 and then curved. And here we build up a post box. So just a red box there kind of on a snowbank. We can open that up. Inside we do have a letter right now. This one's a little bit different. It doesn't have kind of like the cursive looking writing, and it just doesn't have the outline and everything, so slightly different than the one here on the fishing pole, if you can see that. And those like normal can fit right through the slot there. And then we build up this signage with directions, and these are stickers. There are stickers in this set. There's not a ton. My sticker sheet was bent. I was almost going to wait to get another one, but then decided they were probably not damaged enough to really matter. So up here on this gold kind of disc piece or bigger round tile, we have the North Pole post, as well as the like emblem or logo that is present on all the elf figures on their sort of breast area. We have the sticker on a Nexonite shield for the clubhouse, which is referencing the Elf Clubhouse, I believe, which is another Winter Village set, and then also the workshop, which I think is another one, Santa's workshop there, and that is on a nice kind of curved thing. It feels very like Dr. Seuss to me, or like kind of something you might see in Whoville or Grinch, just because it's got that like curve to it, so it's like whimsical and fun. These can kind of be angled to as if they're like getting blown around, or maybe they're also like just more specifically trying to point directly to something. So that's really nice. Then we have this one again on the 6x6 kind of curved plate, and this is just a Christmas tree. Pretty basic. It has a bunch of gifts of various size beneath there, using like stacking plates and jumpers for like different layers, or just using a 1x1 brick or the shorter 1x1 brick, flower studs for the bows. And then the tree is really basic. We do have the red tiles for kind of the skirt there, brown trunk. And I actually liked how this came together. It's using a bunch of these kind of inverted slope pieces. You sort of just alternate them around, and then underneath we put some colorful little studs for maybe ornaments, decoration, lights, something like that. They're not translucent, so that's a little bit different, as oftentimes they do that, but in this case they didn't. Got the little star on top. Another somewhat different way to build a evergreen kind of holiday tree there, which is nice. And then we also have this, which is a little sled, almost like a, not a toboggan necessarily, but sort of, does have a gift on the front as well as another one of these letters. It actually uses the like hockey stick, or maybe do they sometimes use this as a golf club, like a putter or something? I think this is a hockey stick, but I'm not sure that this, if it is a hockey stick, it really makes sense. But those are kind of the skis for the sled. It is like tiled out on the bottom with some inverted tiles, inverted slopes here. And then we do have a spot for a minifigure, like one of the elves, to kind of occupy this. And it slides around nicely. So that is a little accessory there. And maybe they can, you know, pop off these presents or the letters and deliver them at various places. The next thing we will look at is actually something that will come into play with the rest of the set, but this is a mail sorting machine or letter sorting machine. This is really colorful, very cool. This is a print here. But you can see we have like the different blues in here and the bright colors, which I really like. Over on this side, we have some different controls. We have the kind of wheel, the knob here, maybe a button underneath that, a couple different lights, the red and the green there, vented pieces here. And then it's supposed to act like kind of a funnel up top to this platform. We have the bright red kind of handle there with the Technic sticking out, and that is to lean this different ways. So this is just a like teeter-totter kind of thing in there. You can lean it one way and they will slide out from one side, or the other way, it'll slide out the other way. So mail comes in here and then goes one way or the other, or it can be switched, you know, back and forth. Super easy kind of functionality there, super easy mechanism. There's not much to it at all, but that's fine, and this is good. It's not too big. The colors really pop, so that is nice. And then we build two of these mail carts. So one of them is red. They're using these like really small like skateboard wheels. For the most of it, is the build is like brackets being used in here, and that is good. We have like a little handle there, and these are pretty small but good size. Inside we have a couple mail pieces. So one of the ones that is also in the mailbox, kind of the more basic one, and this one says selected winner junk mail with a stamp on it. So you get a few of those as well, and maybe the junk mail is what's going to be like separated out from the rest of the mail, and those can kind of just, you know, go in there. And then you also get a green one. It's built the exact same, so you have the green and red. This one, at this point, I actually have these same kind of printed tiles in there, the same kind. And the idea would be that these can sort of or really nicely line up with the sorting machine here. So if we were to you know, want the mail to maybe go, the junk mail to go in the green, we can do that. And then if we want the non-junk mail to go to the red, we can try to do that and get that in there. So then these can be rolled away and taken to wherever their appropriate place is. So those are kind of all the little like accessories and side buildy type things, and they do kind of integrate into the rest of the set in various ways. These kind of segments don't necessarily, but they just fit really well, like placing them you know, on the side. And these are also the parts that have like these separate building instructions. So if this was to be built by like a family or a couple or just multiple people, friends or whatever, and there's different experiences in building or time commitments or whatever else, this stuff is all kind of like what maybe a more entry-level builder would do, while somebody else works on the like main thing of the set. And now I'm actually gonna move these aside again and bring back the rest of the set. I might have to actually take these all off screen as we go through this. So here we have the Santa's post office, and I'm going to have to find where those couple letters were stored, as well as this, which is something I'm not sure I know what it is. This is not from forgive me. Yeah, I don't know where this goes, so I will have to try and figure that out. Let me check the instructions quick. Oh, wait. I think I know where this goes. Never mind. We'll do it right there. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So here we have the Santa's post office. Just because the way that I'm recording this, the top-down view isn't like great, but it does give you a sense of the depth. This is open back, as is the case with a lot of the, or maybe all of the Winter Village collection stuff. So you do get access to the back. There's a ton of internal details here, and there's a ton of details on the front as well. And we'll kind of go through it in a mixed way. I'm going to actually take off the roof pieces right now because those will like fall out. There's a few other things that may fall as I'm going through this, but we can get a little more look at the inside from there. But I'm actually going to start with kind of the outside of this, and specifically I'm going to look at the bottom. So we use some just plate work all throughout there to kind of build this up, tan, the gray, and then the white kind of for snow, and I'm losing all sorts of accessories and internal details in there. And then for the actual build of the structure of the post office here, it's a lot of plate work very early on, kind of going through building out the general shape, building out some of the kind of like snow mounds at various points, and then we actually start laying the groundwork for the building. A lot of it is studs on top for the main walls and everything like that. There are a couple changes and nice techniques and different things going on through there, and we have a good amount of details up here. So over here we have kind of a fireplace, or sort of a hearth that's got like an inside fireplace and an outside kind of fireplace there. We have a snowman over here, as well as maybe some trees or like little bushes with kind of snow going on them, some like logs down here. We also have this little area that has like maybe holly or something, kind of the cherry piece and the screen claw piece, as well as a lantern there. That's kind of like its own little section, this side. And throughout the whole thing, the colors are really nice. I think this is like the medium nougat. This is like dark azure. It's almost like a teal sort of, or like a blue, I want to say. I don't think it's purple. It could be light purple. I don't know. And then I'd want to say this is blue, but maybe this is purple as well. So I'm not 100% sure, but the color blocking here is really nice. It is whimsical, but it does feel like, it doesn't feel random. It feels intentional. It feels, the contrast is really nice. So I do like that a lot. And then as you look on the roof, like we don't stud down the roof piece over here. It just kind of rests on there, but it can kind of lock in place. So we like tile that all out with slopes and everything. This section is 6 studs wide from like the front of the wall to the rear. It comes out a little bit further because of the fireplace, extends out the back a little bit, which is fine. Then the middle section is kind of the like tallest section there. And this actually has some really nice stuff. Color scheme is the same throughout, which feels really great. I liked how they used some studs on the side for these tiles, as well as these kind of 1x4s with the studs on the outside. That's really nice. These kind of architectural elements there are very good. They continue around the side over here, so it makes them look like beams or support or something like that. We have some windows down on the first floor. It's a little bit hard to see in there right now, but there are windows, so you can see that. Windowsills have some snow built up again or around them, and then we have some like garland or like stuff up here with different leaf pieces, kind of botanical stuff, kind of all clipped on there, which looks very nice as decoration. We have some like icicles coming down, snow getting up on the windowsill, and then there is like a top floor for this one. And on the front of that, we have kind of the or the peak, like the architectural design for the roof area there. And we have this really nicely done brick built kind of bugle or horn kind of thing, which, if you can tell, is the sort of logo that is on the minifigures who work here, up on their kind of torso there. It's the same as the one that's in the sticker, except it is brick built. And actually, that's one of the things that connects this to the Santa's delivery truck, because if I grab that, we can see there's a sticker on the side of that one with the post sign there, and it has that logo as well. So we do a brick built one here in gold, using the kind of like sausage or hot dog pieces there, a life preserver, nice little red bow, some hollow studs, clips in there to kind of get that all done, and then this kind of conical piece, which I want to call like a fez, like the hat, but that's there as well for the horn. So that actually looks really good. I like that it's like genuine building. It's not a sticker or a print or anything. It is like, gives it some nice dimensionality there, and it's a nice design. And I think it works like where the hot dogs like don't come together, the sausages there don't come together, you actually lose a little bit of that when you're looking at it head on, because the bow kind of covers that up a little bit, and you can kind of angle these how you want to adjust that there. So that's very good. And then over on the other side, we have the entryway. So we do build out again using some of these rounded plates. This is the same kind of depth from right to left. So from the very back to like the front of the landscape that is around this is the same on both sides. So that is good. And then we have a little bit of a walkway built up with some gray there and some more of those bushes or trees. We have these really nice pillars that are just clipped in, so you can arrange these how you want to kind of get more of that like kind of whimsical Seuss-like, Whoville-like kind of entryway there. Color scheme is the same, kind of has a mirror sort of peak design for the roof there. And has a nice archway going up front. There is the door, which can open, has the star as the doorknob, door handle, so we can get in there. And then around the side, we have another window with snow on the sill. There's another one over on this side. So that is kind of the front here, and what it looks like with like all the roof and stuff put on. I can kind of show that. So this isn't attached, it just kind of rests on there. Same for the one over here that kind of slots around the chimney. And if I then kind of flip this over so we can see it head on, we can see it's got like a pretty thick covering of snow on the roof for this. We do have the nice like flags coming up, which reminds me of like mailbox stuff where you like put the flag up or down if you're sending something or whatever, which I don't know if that's intended or not, but I thought that was really cute. That's what came to mind for me. And this looks really nice with the roofs on there. Like this angle is very similar to this one, and the little details for the ornamental stuff is very good. The areas where it like kind of there's some snow gathering up around it feels nice, and this one works really well as well. And all the angles for these things are nicely done, so there's some good techniques to kind of get that all working together, which is great. And then as you can see, like over here we have some different stuff. There's like a big like flat area there and some other things, but that's kind of the main front of this. I think it looks really nice, and the colors are really strong in my opinion. And then switching to the back, we can see all of the internal details. Now, some of this stuff did come out because I was, handling this a certain way, and that can happen. So I'm actually going to take off some of the roof again and see how this looks like this, and let me make sure everything is staying together. It's not the easiest for me to review these kind of sets or bigger sets in general in my typical recording area, but since the beginning of the channel, I've been talking about, changing it up and improving it, and that's still something I'm working on doing, but it's slower rolling than I maybe thought. But anyway, we can see the inside here, which is pretty cool. The color scheme is consistent for the most part, and we'll kind of go through the sections in the same way. So starting over here, this is the one with the fireplace and the chimney kind of over there. Archway built up around top, and this is kind of a little like nook or a study or a relaxing area. So we have this nice brick built chair that is on a swivel there. We do have the double-sided kind of fireplace going through. In the back there's a little like end table with a globe on it with that printed minifigure head. There's some bookshelves over here, which is very nice. The brick built kind of bookshelf there, tiled out rug on the floor, and then we do have a little like table here with a letter or a different, it's kind of like a list, a notepad like list, as well as the candle here, and that all just attaches with one stud on there, and that is fine. And then we also have a couple letters or packages down on the floor here as well. So not a ton of space in there. You can get Santa to be sat down in that chair, and this probably is where like it makes sense for them to be, because the elves don't have legs that bend. They would have to be standing in the chair, and you can see I'm sort of struggling with like access here, but it's not terrible. It's not the best. So getting this Santa figure into the chair is a bit of a struggle for me, but I was able to get that. So they can be in there, which is good. And yeah, it's a little bit cramped over here, but that is okay. I still think it looks pretty nice, and it does feel like densely populated, which is cool. In the middle section, this is kind of like the main office for the post office here, and there's some different stuff going on. So all of these pieces that are like free flowing around in there that are falling out, these are different like mail pieces, letters, packages, stuff like that is used in this set. And I'm wanting to see if I'm losing any of these. I don't know. Oh, there we go. So we have a couple different things going on in here. First, over here, we have kind of like a sorting station. So up on the wall, we have like these cubbies in red. That's on the other side of the bookshelf. And then there's like some trays or sorting areas down here. And in those, we have like this, which I think is supposed to be just a package or something. Another letter here, kind of using like the wax seal looking print. And then we have this kind of package with the printed kind of label on that. And those can all be sort of slotted in there to populate that space, going to the correct place. On the other side, we have kind of a desk over here, so maybe a little bench there, and then that's where we keep this book. This book does have stickers on it, so the front of the book is a sticker, and inside we have another sticker on a tile there, which has the little logo, has like the different carts, the red cart and the green cart, and different tally marks for each one. So that corresponds with these carts over here, and that can kind of rest over on the table in front of the bench there, so that's good. And then it does have like a high ceiling in the middle area, and then there is technically kind of 2 floors, but I'll cover that next. But before we do that, I'm going to move over to the other side, which is sort of the entryway here, but also maybe kind of a kitchen or a storage area or a break room sort of thing. So that's the entry area there. There's a mat over there. I should note there's a lot of exposed studs here. We could put figures in there. Same over on this side. And this side is interesting. On the one wall we have some like storage, so more packages there, more printed tiles with the letters and kind of some stuff underneath there, implying that there's like stacked up. Same down here with another one. We also have like Santa's bag there as well. I believe one of these is a box, and inside the box we have a cookie in there. It's maybe hard to see it, but it is this kind of printed tile one by one that's kind of hidden in the box in the corner there behind the bag. So that's nice. Nice to get a yellow box like that. And then yeah, the sack there, as well as other stuff. Over on this side we have what looks to me to be like a coffee machine or an espresso machine or something like that, which is a little different build than normal. Or maybe it's just supposed to be water. I don't think so. And it's a really economical build, super small in there. There's a mug right next to it, and then ideally like this mug that's on the floor here could be put underneath the kind of like maybe the steam wand or whatever, but or just the dispenser, but there's no stud there. It's like a tile there, and then we have some different kind of stuff going on, and it's kind of this angled kind of counter space there. Not a ton of space, but that's okay. And from the back here we can see what the roof looks like for this section. It's a little bit different. This roof up here is like clipped on, and then we do have what I would call like the landing pad over here, which is nice. A lot of like snow built up over there on this roof, and then the ramp going in here as well, which I'll get to in a minute. And then kind of the next floor is another little area there that has a rug in there. It has a bunch of letters, the wax sealed letters throughout, as well as this. This is a sticker, and it is signed SC for probably Santa Claus. And we have some different stuff here. Another candle. This looks to be like a quill and ink. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be, if it's supposed to be like a lever or if it's supposed to be a magnifying glass or any other number of things, but that is there as well. And there's also, I don't believe, supposed to be any like seating here or anything. So this just is where a figure could kind of stand, but we do have a little desk space up there and all of that. So that's kind of everything that is on the inside as terms of details here. And it's nicely populated. There's some good fun stuff, but a lot of the internal details or internal things for this are for a function. So down here you can see there's almost like another little rug, so to speak, and that actually corresponds with some of the colors that are on these sorting machines. So the sorting machine can actually stud down on the back of this, so that does extend it out a little bit there, but you can just put this on that jumper and it lines up really, really well with a ramp. So there's these ramps kind of all throughout here. You can see this one coming down here, one coming from over here. There's actually one coming from under here as well. These both feed into this one. And then there's kind of the same brick built style like funnel over here with different slopes and tiles that then dispenses onto the ramp and then onto this one. This one they meet up in the middle and go to the sorting machine. And then what's going on up here is we saw the roof kind of piece, and if you looked on the inside there was this nice like subassembly kind of interesting detail that is like this brick built arrow that also corresponds with the color of the funnel areas. And so when this is on there, something like that, we can see that the arrow is sort of pointing to the funnel, and it's almost as if someone would be like working here, standing in here, and they would throw the letters or something kind of behind them, and the arrow is sort of directing where that will go. So that yellow stripe and to the arrow, and then it kind of lands into here, and then from there it would travel down like I already said, and from here it would travel down over there. So the kind of like play feature of this is we can have, you know, red and green carts here, different sides, and depending on which way they're coming from, you know, maybe it'll go one way, maybe it'll go another. If you have this like level, you can sometimes get it to kind of stay. Maybe you can't see that. You can get it to kind of stay in there, and then once it's in there, you can decide like where to put this. And let me just do that one more time. So I kind of want this not to sort right away, so I'm going to kind of try to have that level. Drop that in there. It does land in there. Then I can shift it over to one side or the other, and or you can have it leaning all one way for something, and I'll put this one in kind of over here. And yeah, you got to be a little bit careful, but for the most part you can get this to work. And right now I'm missing the cart, but that time I got it. So from either side kind of going through here, you can sort out the mail combining these things, which is a nice little play feature. It's kind of fun. It's integrated well. It doesn't take up a ton of space, which is good because, you know, for the area where some of these ramps would be, especially kind of under the like roof or under the top floor there, I don't imagine that would really be, you know, populated with other stuff, so that is okay. But that is why we have kind of the high ceiling in the middle and kind of the smaller one up top. So I think that's really cute, really fun, and that's kind of most of the actual post office here. But that is not the end of the set. There is a lot of stuff in here, and the kind of last thing that is built, and one of the last little like function feature type things, is this. So this is a hot air balloon, which again kind of leads it in my mind, like hot air balloons certainly are real. They exist. This feels a little more whimsical to me. I think in just even in the real world, not the like Lego Winter Village collection world, I think of hot air balloons as, you know, pretty whimsical. So we do have one here that is all brick built. It does use these big kind of balloon panels that I really like, with the gold and then kind of the brown throughout there. We built up the basket down here. There is a spot for a figure to operate inside. We have a couple more of the printed tiles in there, and we can kind of stand the pilot one down like that, so they have some room in the basket. It's built on a 6x6. It does extend out a little bit. There's some fun features going on through here. So behind we have the area where like the flame will be that heats up the air for the hot air balloon, and there's like kind of, it acts as like a shelf as well. Behind that we have a kind of cart or a deposit or something, so that has a function here. You can turn this kind of crank or this knob, and it will tilt this little crate over. So if you were to use the landing area for this set, which is over here, you can kind of see what it looks like when it lands like that. So it just studs down on these two studs here. The rest of this is tiled out, matches up nicely, and then you flip this, it will deposit the contents onto the ramp and into the rest of the sorting system. So this could be flying in from anywhere and land and drop down in there. Of course, we would maybe want one of the elves to guide the pilot and the hot air balloon to its landing position, and then it can deposit some letters and get them going where they need to go. So that's kind of what that looks like there. Another little function feature. It also looks really good with this like sitting on top. I think it adds, you know, a good amount of height to this that it might be lacking, and I think it adds this some like the asymmetrical nature of it. So I actually really like this with this parked up here. It just feels like it looks really, really great. I think the color choices are nice. The design for and the build for the hot air balloon overall is really, really strong. We do have like these ties almost, using some like the gold accented pieces to clip onto. They are sort of structural, but sort of not. For the most part, the structure uses Technic throughout, so you can see some Technic pieces, but because they're like white and red, they sort of blend in. And then, you know, we have some floral elements and bows and stuff like that. Up top, you can kind of see what's used. These like octagonal pieces are used to clip these bigger panels onto. There's one at the bottom as well, so you can kind of see that. And then there's another function here because there is a light brick in this. So instead of the light brick being used maybe in the fireplace, which is pretty common, we did it in the hot air balloon because we do need like a flame to heat up the air. So in that kind of middle column, we do have the orange translucent as well as just the clear round bricks. Up top, we have this little antenna peeking through a round jumper, and that is how you turn on the light function. So if I push down on that, the light underneath here lights up. So this does have the light brick in there, and that's kind of the function. It works really, really nicely, actually. I was kind of surprised by it because I wasn't sure, you know, this kind of antenna piece, I was sort of like, well, isn't that kind of flimsy, and isn't that going to like bend or get weak or anything like that? And it doesn't appear to be the case. It's built up nicely in there, coming off of like Technic, and then to like a candlestick piece that then this is in, and it just guides right up through the kind of hole in the center there. So I think that's actually really nice, and not too much of it sticks out, so I'm not too worried about it being like bent because only a little bit sticks out, which is very cool. So it's like super kind of discreet in there, and I think it looks great when it's lit up. So it lights up kind of like the flame. You can kind of see a little bit through the panels, but it just works really well for me. So I think that's a good use of the light brick, actually. Did forget to mention there's a couple other stickers that are on this. So on this brick here, we have the logo, another one on the other side. And I think this build is awesome. I like the colors a lot. This has a lot of functions and things that integrate with the rest of the set nicely, as well as kind of work on their own. So I think this is really cool, and it's just a great hot air balloon kind of build that really adds to this. I think the basket design is nice, and there's not like a ton of room, so you can't fit like more figures in here, and they did have to kind of make a little extra area there, but for what I have here, it's still really, really strong, really solid. So I like this a lot. And then that is kind of everything that's in this set. So you get the 5 figures, you get Santa and 4 elves or elven sort of postal workers there. You get some side buildy things like the signage and the post box. You get the mail sorter, the carts, the little sled, the terrain over here with the ice fishing kind of area. You get the hot air balloon with the light brick. Tons of stuff in here, lots of different stuff. And so if this was being like displayed, this could be on there. This could be potentially put on the back or separated out for display. And then for play, you can kind of all integrate those things together. These kind of like standalone things you could like tuck up next to the side, or they could just be placed around kind of however one wants. You know, this kind of feels like it might kind of be over to the side or kind of out close to the, if there's such thing as a street in the North Pole, but wherever this might be, this can kind of be out there. Tons of letters and packages and different things to really engage and play with the idea of a post office, working up at the North Pole, receiving all of the letters for Santa. And I don't know if they also assist in delivery. I feel like that's kind of Santa's whole thing, but having a sort of fulfillment center of some kind to aid Santa in the whole like processing for packaging and all that stuff, getting labels on the right things, getting the right gifts to the right people, and receiving and sorting through all the mail that Santa might get, is a really cute idea. Super whimsical, super fun. I think this looks good. There's a like nice variation here with like the different roof angles. The colors really work for me, and there's just a ton of stuff. So a lot of good stuff here. I'll show the extra pieces because you do get a bunch of them. It's a bigger set, and so there are a lot of small pieces, and that is to be expected. So I'm not going to go through all of them, but we can kind of see that your ones by ones, your studs, your tiles, extra of the flexible whip piece, hot dog piece in there, some of the other things, the Santa like beard, the feather, unicorn horn or drill, a couple other star pieces throughout there. Just all your one by ones, your studs, your tiles, your little slopes, the bow pieces. You have some Technic stuff in here, extra goggles, very limited Technic stuff. There's like a pin here and a couple of these like bushings or different things, and a couple bar elements, all sorts of different stuff, but those are the extra pieces. Oh, extra cherries in there, as well as that extra like cookie tile as well, that I couldn't show because it was tucked in there. And then you get like a bunch of the other, like I said, there's all these different mail pieces that some of them are sort of studded down or locked in place, but they're scattered all throughout. They're in every room. They're in the thing here. They're outside. They're in the mailbox. They're in the carts. They're on the sled. So those are kind of everywhere, which is really nice. That feels authentic to me. It's a good presence for those to be in. And this set is 1,440 pieces, and it retails for $100. So that piece count feels very in line with other Winter Village collection sets. They kind of hit that 1,000, 1,100, 1,200 something kind of route. I think actually a while back when they started it, when it was still under like Creator Expert, I think some of them were like less than 1,000, but I also think they maybe weren't charging $100 for them, or I don't think that's what they were priced at. For the last few years, I would say for like Holiday Main Street, for Santa's Visit, for Alpine Lodge, and for this one, these are like some of the standout value sets of the year. And I think that could be for pieces or figures, but for the build experience, for the display value, kind of everything in here, just the amount of stuff you get, it's play and display. You get the light brick, you get like a lot of Lego in this box. So 1,400 pieces over that, and $100 feels really fair to me. So I think the value here is pretty good. That said, I do want to take some time to talk about this other set, which is Santa's delivery truck. Now, this set is its own separate set here. It's sort of this post delivery truck, kind of old school looking truck. It has an elf figure, which is different in some ways to the ones that are in the post office set, but in many ways the same. So has the same hat and ears, actually has the same torso and legs. The only difference really in this case is the head, so the face is a little bit different. But this is very clearly intended to be another elf worker here at the North Pole Santa's post office, because they have the bugle there, and this is all the same. As well, the kind of truck over here has the stickers on the side that says like North Pole Post, again with the same sort of logo, same kind of emblem over there, very similar to the one over on this sign, the kind of crest, which is really nice. Colors wise, I mean, these just feel kind of more like Christmassy type colors or winter holiday type colors. Matches a little more with some of the stuff going on in the air balloon. And this is sort of like fits in that, like, maybe gifts or presents or different things. The letters come in, they get sorted, the gifts are made and delivered, and then they can get loaded up in here and transferred somewhere else. Or, this one actually does come with a letter tile as well, and so maybe this also helps deliver some letters to the post office as well. Now, this is a $20 set. It does come with the other tree there and everything in the one figure. I had weird feelings about this. The video for reviewing this will come out first, and I was sort of wondering if I'm going to think like maybe this should have been added in here, or if it is worth, I think on its own, a $20 set like this, it makes sense, but it almost feels like one of the sets Lego does as like a exclusive gift with purchase. Sometimes for like a flagship Marvel set, they would have like an exclusive gift with purchase, or like the Shackleton's boat recently from the Endurance. So you only get that gift with purchase when you buy that set. And I don't love that, especially because they like sell out and they run out of them. I don't love the way that Lego does gift with purchases, or where the prices are at for certain things. But I don't know if they really do Winter Village collection ones, but they kind of have. They've done close to it. Like there was the Winter Market Stall or Christmas Market Stall or whatever from a year or two ago, which felt, on brand, in theme with the Winter Village collection. This is interesting because it's like a direct reference and addition to another set. And I maybe would have thought this would be cool as a gift with purchase. $20, feels about appropriate. I also don't know if I would mind if this was like included in here. I don't necessarily want this to be more. I don't know if I would want it to be $120. If I'm being greedy, I guess, but I like to, Lego makes a lot of money. They could have put this in this set and had it be still $100 and been okay. I also think there's a lot of value in having it separate. So if people wanted to get like multiple of these, like a fleet of these or something, there's a way here, and they're not locked behind getting the full set. So I kind of think there's arguments both ways to including this, not including this, having it as a gift with purchase, stuff like that. But it is interesting to see, because I think it's the first time like I've encountered a really like direct spin-off, or kind of a set that is exterior to the main Winter Village collection set, but very much part of that collection, in my opinion. This one isn't 18 plus. This one doesn't have the box that looks like the Icons box. It doesn't have any branding that says Winter Village collection on it. So the connection between the two of them is pretty explicit, but in terms of the packaging and stuff that they come in, and how you might acquire them, that's a little bit different. I believe the truck here is a Lego exclusive, so I don't know if it will be on retail store shelves here anywhere except for Lego stores, Lego Shop at Home. The actual post office set, I think sometimes these are exclusive and sometimes not. I seem to remember getting like Santa's Visit and or seeing Santa's Visit and seeing the Holiday Main Street on shelves at like big box stores, or just retail locations or stuff like that. So I don't know if I've seen this one yet, but I don't think we will see the truck ever being put on store shelves like that. And I think that's everything. I mean, this was a very long video. Thank you for bearing with me. It was fun to kind of go through the stuff here. Hopefully it was interesting, entertaining, exciting, calming, whatever it might be. Hopefully people like it. And I'm very grateful to be able to have this, to be able to talk about it in comparison to other Winter Village collection sets, even though I don't have those like right next to me to like draw direct comparisons to it in the video. I sort of have those in my mind that I can draw comparisons to, and I had a lot of fun building this. I think it looks great. Cool features, cool functions. It's different. So there's a lot of good stuff here. This is a winner for me. I like these, and these might just be something like every year, $100 for a pretty big set. Just feels like it's a really good value proposition, and I hope LEGO doesn't take advantage of that going forward. But so far, for the last few years, for the ones I've built, I've thought they were all like pretty stellar value and good sets in their own right. So thumbs up from me, and I think that's it. So if you like this video, please click the thumbs up and give it a like. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button down below so you can stay up to date on all the LEGO videos I'll be doing here in the future, including more LEGO holiday stuff and Christmassy stuff. And then January 1st of 2025, there's tons of new LEGO sets coming out. I'm also going to be reviewing a bunch of old sets that I have a backlog of. So tons of stuff. If you're interested in my takes on different sets, maybe consider subscribing. It helps me a lot. I promise not all of the videos will be as long as this one. It just kind of depends. And then if you want to support the channel in a different way, you can give money to the channel, which helps kind of financially support the channel, because I do pay for everything with my own money here for the most part, for the vast majority of stuff. So if you wanted to give money to the channel, you can do that here on YouTube with membership, supers, and thanks. There's a Patreon, there's a buy me a coffee link, there's some affiliate links. Maybe consider checking those things out. Those do help financially support the channel, which is appreciated. It's not needed, it's not necessary. I'm not going to stop doing this if nobody does do that, but it just, sort of makes the financial burden a little less complicated for doing these, which is I hope to be able to continue to do things, and the plan is to continue to make LEGO videos and LEGO set reviews well into the future. So anyway, there's avenues for that. Maybe consider checking it out. It helps a lot. And with all of that said, until next time, thanks. Bye.